What if our planet is actually alive? A self-regulating intelligent system that breathes, adapts, and responds like a single living organism. The Gaia Hypothesis isn't just a theory. It's a radical reimagining of our place in the universe. Today we'll delve into its origins, the science behind it, the critiques it faces, and why it might just be the bridge between spirituality and science in our modern age. If you'd enjoy this type of content and want to see more, please like and subscribe. One click from you means the world to me. That said, light your incense, grab your favorite snack, and learn how truly syncretic our species just might be within the broader fabric of the cosmos. The Gaia Hypothesis, proposed by scientist James Lovelock in the 1970s and co-developed by microbiologist Lynn Margulis, posits that the Earth is a self-regulating complex system involving the biosphere, atmosphere, hydrospheres, and pedosphere. This groundbreaking idea emerged from Lovelock's work at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in the 1960s, where he was tasked with developing instruments to detect life on Mars. Lovelock's eureka moment came in 1965, when he shifted focus from biochemical approaches to life detection towards physical, thermodynamical approaches. He observed that Earth's atmosphere exists in a state of great thermodynamic disequilibrium, with methane and oxygen coexisting in proportions far from equilibrium predictions. This disequilibrium, Lovelock argued, was a direct consequence of living beings' influence on their planetary environment. The name Gaia was suggested by novelist William Golding, Lovelock's neighbor, drawing from the Greek goddess personifying Earth. This choice of name reflects the hypothesis's view of Earth as a living, giant superorganism composed of all living creatures and their material environment. Lovelock and Margulis developed the hypothesis through a series of co-written papers from 1973 to 1978, culminating in Lovelock's book Gaia, A New Look at Life on Earth in 1979. They proposed that the ensemble of living organisms constituting the biosphere might act as a single entity to regulate chemical composition, surface pH, and possibly climate. The Gaia Hypothesis aims to explain the long-term stability of Earth's environment, which has remained habitable for billions of years despite external perturbations like increases in solar luminosity. This stability is attributed to the complex interactions between living organisms and their inorganic surroundings, forming a synergistic and self-regulating system. The Gaia Hypothesis focuses on observing how the biosphere and the evolution of life forms contribute to the stability of global temperature, ocean salinity, oxygen in the atmosphere, and other factors of habitability. These complex interactions form a synergistic and self-regulating system that has maintained Earth's habitability for billions of years. One of the key mechanisms supporting the Gaia Hypothesis is the regulation of atmospheric gases. Oxygen, a highly reactive compound, has maintained a relatively stable concentration in the atmosphere for hundreds of millions of years, fluctuating between 15% and 40% of atmospheric volume since the Cambrian period. This stability is remarkable given that oxygen should theoretically combine with gases and minerals in the Earth's crust and atmosphere. Another crucial aspect is the regulation of global surface temperature. The Claw Hypothesis, named after its proponents Charlson, Lovelock, Andre, and Warren, suggests that phytoplankton produce dimethyl sulfide, which can influence cloud formation and potentially regulate global temperature. This mechanism exemplifies the intricate feedback loops between life and the physical environment that are central to the Gaia Hypothesis. Carbon dioxide regulation is another critical process. Coccolithophores, abundant marine algae, play a significant role in carbon sequestration by locking CO2 in ocean floor sediments. Additionally, these organisms may contribute to cloud formation, further influencing the Earth's temperature and precipitation patterns. Recent research has provided more evidence for Earth's self-regulating capabilities. A study published in Science Advances confirms the existence of a stabilizing feedback mechanism operating over hundreds of thousands of years. This mechanism, likely silicate weathering, involves the slow erosion of silicate rocks, which ultimately draws carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and incorporates it into sedimentary rocks. The concept of sequential selection, proposed by climate scientist Richard Betts, offers an explanation for how these stabilizing states emerge. As life develops on a planet, it begins to affect environmental conditions. organizing into states that act like a thermostat and tend to persist. This process provides a framework for understanding how Gaia-like systems could evolve over time. However, while these mechanisms operate on geological timescales, they are too slow to counteract the rapid increase in atmospheric CO2 caused by human activities. This underscores the urgency of addressing anthropogenic climate change, as Earth's natural regulatory systems cannot keep pace with the current rate of change. It's hardly a surprise that this hypothesis resonates deeply with various spiritual traditions and philosophical worldviews, offering a unique bridge between scientific understanding and spiritual reverence for our planet. This concept has given rise to Gaianism, an Earth-centered philosophical, holistic, and spiritual belief that shares expressions with Earth religions and paganism, while maintaining its distinct identity. Gaianism approaches the Earth, or Gaia, as a living, self-regulating organism deserving of reverence and protection. Practitioners, known as Gaians or Gaianists, embrace a comprehensive perspective that fundamentally transforms human relationships with the natural world. This approach involves deeply honoring the Earth as sacred, actively working to reduce human environmental impact, and cultivating profound respect for all forms of life and the intricate systems that support them. The philosophy aligns with many indigenous cultures' long-held beliefs that personify Earth as a living entity, a mother, a provider, a sacred being. These traditional worldviews have long recognized the interconnectedness of all living systems, a concept that the Gaia hypothesis now validates through scientific inquiry. The spiritual implications of the Gaia hypothesis extend beyond traditional religious boundaries. It offers a framework for seeing Earth as a single, unified system while grounding that vision in measurable processes. This synthesis provides a powerful meeting point where data-driven inquiry and reverence for nature converge, appealing to those seeking a more holistic worldview. These principles resonate with various spiritual systems, including animism, pantheism, and modern paganism, all of which echo the idea of Earth as an interconnected whole. The hypothesis has inspired the development of Earth-based spirituality, which involves a deep connection to the natural world and recognition of the Earth's sacredness. This may manifest in rituals and ceremonies centered on Earth cycles, such as solstices and equinoxes, or practices like nature meditation and mindfulness. Importantly, Gaianism emphasizes the profound interconnectedness of all life forms and our responsibility to care for and support one another. This perspective extends beyond human relationships to encompass our interactions with all aspects of the Earth system, challenging the anthropocentric worldview that has dominated much of modern human thought. Despite its profound influence and appeal, the hypothesis has faced significant criticism from both the scientific and spiritual communities. While it has inspired interdisciplinary research and a rethinking of Earth's systems, skeptics argue that its core ideas are fundamentally flawed. One of the most pressing concerns among scientists is the testability of the hypothesis. James W. Kirshner argued that Gaia is untestable, ambiguous, and misleading as a scientific theory. Drawing on Karl Popper's philosophy of science, which emphasizes falsifiability, Kirshner contends that Gaia's holistic nature makes it resistant to standard verification methods. Evolutionary biologists like Richard Dawkins provide another critical perspective, arguing that the hypothesis conflicts with Darwinian principles. Dawkins asserts that natural selection operates at the level of individual organisms, or genes, not at the planetary scale. The idea of Earth as a living organism implies teleological processes incompatible with evolutionary theory. The language used by Lovelock further complicates scientific acceptance. Phrases like Gaia likes it cool anthropomorphize Earth in ways that many scientists find problematic. This metaphorical framing may make the hypothesis more accessible to the public, but undermines its credibility within scientific circles. Paleoclimate studies also challenge the hypothesis's core claim of planetary self-regulation. Evidence suggests that biological feedback mechanisms have often amplified environmental changes rather than mitigating them. During periods of high atmospheric CO2, biological processes did not prevent extreme warming, but instead contributed to further instability. From a spiritual perspective, some practitioners argue that Lovelock's mechanistic system diminishes the sacredness traditionally associated with Earth in spiritual tradition. The hypothesis risks reducing Gaia to a series of feedback loops, potentially stripping away deeper metaphysical dimensions central to indigenous and earth-based spiritualities. Critics also highlight the way Gaia has been co-opted by New Age movements, where it is often deified or invoked in ways disconnected from its scientific origins. This blending of science with mythology can dilute both fields, alienating scientific purists while seeming superficial to traditional spiritual practitioners. Despite these critiques, proponents argue that the Gaia hypothesis has intrinsic value. It has stimulated groundbreaking research in Earth system science and biogeochemistry, while fostering interdisciplinary collaboration. Lovelock himself acknowledged many critiques, but maintained that the hypothesis should not be dismissed outright. The Gaia hypothesis transcends traditional boundaries between science and spirituality, offering a transformative vision of our relationship with Earth. It challenges us to see ourselves not as separate observers, but as living, breathing components of a complex planetary system. For spiritual practitioners, this perspective demands a radical reimagining of practice. Environmental stewardship becomes more than an ethical choice. It becomes a sacred communion. Our meditation, rituals, and daily actions can be understood as direct dialogues with the living systems of our planet. This holistic worldview invites us to move beyond anthropocentric thinking. We are not masters of nature, but participants in an intricate, dynamic web of life. Each action ripples through ecological networks in ways both subtle and profound. Our consciousness expands from individual experience to planetary awareness. Ultimately, the Gaia hypothesis is an invitation to reimagine our spiritual practice, to expand our circle of compassion, and to recognize our fundamental belonging to something far greater than ourselves. It asks us to live not just on the Earth, but with the Earth.
Thank you for watching. If you found this video enlightening, please like, subscribe, and share with others who might be interested in exploring the interconnectedness of science and spirituality in a constructive and meaningful way. Also, consider supporting the Dark Primordial by visiting our Etsy and Shopify stores. There you'll find a curated selection of handcrafted, witchcraft, and pagan accessories to enhance your own spiritual practice. From hand-poured candles to intricately painted talismans, each item is imbued with intention and power. Until next time, may you become one with your own abyss.